So yesterday, following the 24-hour Pokemon Sword and Shield livestream, Galarian Ponyta was officially revealed, and not only was it a surprise that this Pokemon is Psychic type instead of Fairy, but it was also a bit of a shock that it's going to be exclusive to Pokemon Shield as well. Briefly before the trailer on it was made public, a page in the Japanese magazine Famitsu showcased Galarian Ponyta and its Shield exclusivity, next to Sirfetch'd and its Sword exclusivity. However, even with this being the case, I don't think these two are going to be version counterparts to each other. Other than them both being Kanto Pokemon, there's really nothing equivalent about them. For one, Sirfetch'd is a regional evolution while Ponyta is a standard Galarian form, and while you could argue that maybe Rapidash will get an evolution too, that would make it a 3-stage line as opposed to the 2-stage line that Sirfetch'd has. That's in addition to them being completely separate Pokemon anyway, so I still feel like we've yet to see the Shield version of Sirfetch'd, which I also made a video on, as well as the Sword counterpart to Ponyta, and who that could most likely be is going to be the topic of today's video, so let's get right into it. First, since Ponyta is a Kanto Pokemon, I do think it's most likely that its Sword equivalent will also come from Kanto, and one choice I think is a strong possibility are Krabby and Kingler. While not a counterpart in any way to Ponyta, these guys are a 2-stage line from Kanto that actually have some ties to the Galar region. First, there's the obvious fact that with a name like Kingler, it would be a prime choice to get some attention in the Royal UK. But there's also the peculiar case from a couple weeks ago where Krabby began invading the Japanese Sword and Shield website, in a similar fashion to the way Sirfetch'd was also teased. The Pokemon Company almost never do something this random without it meaning something, so I definitely could see this one happening as well. Another 2-stage water line from Kanto that I could see happening are Horsey and Seadra, with the primary reason being that these two, in addition to the Kanto connection, are technically horses of their own, albeit water-based ones instead of fire-land-based ones. That kind of opposite nature could serve as a good basis for a counterpart, however, and while this line is actually a 3-stage one now thanks to Kingdra being introduced in Generation 2, who's to say Rapidash couldn't get an evolution as well to even that out. Based on what we've seen out of this generation so far, I would certainly say that it's not completely out of the question. Moving down the list of the 2-stage water lines from Kanto, we have Seel and Dugong. Now, I promise I did not plan on having so many water types on this list, but the more I looked at it, the more it seemed like a good fit for an originally water-type Pokemon to counteract an originally fire-type one, and I think Seel and Dugong are as deserving as any. Despite no real connection to Ponyta and Rapidash, these Pokemon have been criminally overlooked over the years thanks to their extremely basic nature, and if there's any Pokemon out there that deserves some kind of makeover or update to its design, it's these two right here. And as an added bonus, I feel like being based on Seals and Dugongs would make them a good fit in the Galar region as well. And the last Pokemon from Kanto on this list would have to be Goldeen and Seaking. While I hate to give so much bias to Kanto, I really do feel like Ponyta's counterpart is bound to be from there as well, and when it comes to Goldeen and Seaking, they basically have all the traits that got others included on this list as well. For one, they're water type, which I previously stated I have a good hunch about, they're criminally overshadowed and underloved at this point, just like Seel and Dugong, and just like Kingler, Seaking has that royal touch too that would obviously feel right at home in Galar as well. And with Galarian Ponyta being a very cultural regional variant in its own right, I think we can expect to see something similar with its Sword equivalent as well. Finally, moving out of Kanto, my next picks are Snubbull and Granbull. While these guys are completely unrelated to Ponyta, remember what I just said about its equivalent also being culturally inspired? Well, with being based on bulldogs, which are a staple in the UK, Snubbull and Granbull would be a perfect fit with this in mind. Granbull's added fairy type even has some possible connections to Celtic mythology as well, just like Galarian Ponyta's unicorn inspiration, so I feel like this would be a prime candidate for this position for a Pokemon outside of Kanto. From Kanto to Johto and now to Sinnoh, next up on the list are Buizel and Floatzel. Now, first off, I promise that this is the last water type, and I can't tell you why I was so gravitated toward them here. I just got a strong gut feeling about it, I guess. And I also have a strong gut feeling about Buizel and Floatzel as well. Not only are they Sinnoh Pokemon, and we know what's about to happen to Sinnoh in the next year or two, but I just feel really strongly about the fact that something's bound to, or at the very least should, happen to Buizel and Floatzel with the Sinnoh focus seemingly on the horizon. To me, Buizel just seems like one of those quintessential Sinnoh Pokemon that really represents the region well, and since it would fit naturally in Galar as well, I think it would be a welcome choice as Ponyta's counterpart. Another interesting pick that I would also like to see are Blitzle and Zebstrika. Reason being is because with Unova basically being a reboot of Kanto, Blitzle and Zebstrika are for all intents and purposes the unofficial Unovan equivalent to Ponyta and Rapidash, which I think makes for the perfect reason to have them as the Sword version exclusives. When it comes to Mega Evolutions, regional variants, and the like, however, Unova seems to get the short end of the stick, with only having Mega Audino to its name. I think this has to do with the isolated nature that Game Freak tried to throw onto Unova, but with it being based on the New York area of all places, and with us about to get our 4th region outside of the Japan-based ones, which was kind of the whole reason Unova was seen as isolated at the time, it is anything but at this point, and I think it's high time we integrate a little more of it into the rest of the Pokemon world with some regional variants of its own. And the last choice on my list coming from the Kalos region are Litleo and Pyroar. Now, while I don't think it's very likely that anything from Kalos will get a regional variant in these games due to the region's close proximity, I do feel like the Litleo family is a good fit regardless. A 2-stage fire-type family with an inspiration that feels like it could work with the Ponyta line well, just feels like it fits as I said. We can also argue that being based on lions, who are the kings of the jungle, it's got that royal aesthetic going on that, as previously mentioned, would be right at home in the Galar region. And if we're gonna convert Ponyta into a mythical unicorn, you could easily convert Litleo into a manticore or something like that to keep up with the mythical theme. So that's who I feel like are the most likely candidates for Galarian Ponyta's Sword version exclusive. What do you guys think though? Let me know in the comments below, and if you have any other ideas, be sure to leave them there as well. Also, give the video a like if you enjoyed, subscribe for more Pokemon content, and check out my Twitter for my Pokemon Sword and Shield giveaway if you'd like to enter. You can also check out my Spotify to support the channel, and be sure to watch the trailer for my Pokemon Cardinal project if you haven't yet either, if you're interested in discovering even more new Pokemon in a brand new region. Anyways though, I'll be back on Saturday with another video. I love you all, and until the next one, as always, I will smell you guys later.